Hey everyone, MeltingMan234 here, and welcome to the 50th episode special of Forgotten Media, where I talk about something very special on a certain occasion. Now, for the past 49 episodes that I've done, you've seen me talk about TV shows, video games, video game consoles, characters, canceled projects, and so on. So it's time to kick it up a notch with businesses and stores. This is a bit odd to feature this, since I've constantly been debating if this would work compared to my other sources of media. Well, there have been a lot of stores, restaurants, and companies that have been shut down over the years, and I've had some people ask me to do an episode on the history of LJN on Forgotten Media, so I think they deserve to be brought up in this series. So, in this episode, I'll be talking about a certain store that I personally remembered from my childhood, and it was actually one of the topics that I've wanted to do ever since I started the series. And that store happens to be MediaPlay. This was a chain of retail stores that was founded by a company called Musicland, and it first opened to the public in Rockford, Illinois in 1992, and it would later be opened to many other states and locations after that. So, what did this store sell? Well, almost anything you can think of. Movies, video games, books, music, merchandise, anime, instruments, as well as their own gift cards. They don't call this place MediaPlay for nothing. Even the logo represents what they sell. A book with an outline of a face with a music note as a pair of eyes, while a film strip is seen in the background. That's a pretty weird logo, but back then I thought it was awesome. I have some memories of this place because I used to have one around where I lived back in my youth. One of the things I remembered the most was seeing merchandise of Nightmare Before Christmas. It just blew my mind because I never seen merchandise of the film at a store before. I've gotten a few things there, like this action figure of the werewolf from the film, back when NECA was making the first action figures that were based off of the film. And I also got this cool poster too. The video game section was cool. My mind is a bit fuzzy about it, but I remember seeing a demo of Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex one time, and they had giant cutouts of video game characters on a wall like Banjo-Kazooie. Whenever I went to that store, I always had to go to that wall with the giant cutouts and just marvel at its awesomeness. I also remember getting the first Harry Potter film and Nightmare Before Christmas on DVD before they were re-released in their special editions. Yeah, that was back in the days when DVDs were hitting the market, but they still sold some VHS tapes. The anime section was cool, since it was the first time I saw anime on home media, but I don't remember it that much, because the only anime that I watched when I was young was Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z on Toonami. Yeah, me and my sister used to do that a lot back then. During its run, MediaPlay was more of the underdog of the group at that time. Most of the time it felt like it was being sandwiched between other successful stores like Best Buy and Walmart in their competition against each other. And even online shopping was coming in like Amazon.com. So it seems like the store was still holding up despite the other more popular brands, but sadly the business wouldn't last forever. In 2001, Best Buy bought Musicland for about $700 million as a way to increase their entertainment products. That sounded like it would have helped out with what the market had to offer and expand the company. Unfortunately, it backfired, as in 2002, the business lost $85 million. So, with that punch to the stomach, the store was put up for sale. Musicland still owned the rights to MediaPlay, but they needed to find some kind of corporation to help keep the business going. They eventually found a corporation by the name of Sun Capital Partners, and they pretty much pitched in to help keep MediaPlay going, but not by much. It was practically unprofitable. So as the days went on, it felt like MediaPlay was on life support, and it was still going through with it, like a strong trooper through a blizzard. But on December of 2005, Musicland announced that all MediaPlay stores would be shut down and soon filed bankruptcy. So as you would guess, all MediaPlay stores were having clearance sales, selling everything for very low prices. They gotta get rid of this stuff one way or another. And so with one last purchase at that store, MediaPlay shut its doors in 2006 and was never seen again. Even though the store was shut down, the website they created still existed before it too was shut down. I was sad when the one that I had was closed, but I was even more depressed when they all closed down, every last one of them, and I'm sure fans of that store felt the same way as I did. Many years later, I soon discovered another store that was like MediaPlay called For Your Entertainment, or FYE for short. It's basically what the old store used to sell: movies, music, merchandise, anime, the works. I've heard that they've closed down a lot of stores over the years, but so far, it's not entirely defunct. This has become one of my favorite stores next to Play and Trade. It just feels like a reincarnation of MediaPlay, and ironically, most of the MediaPlay stores were replaced with FYE stores. There's not that many photographs or videos to showcase what MediaPlay was like inside the building, but there is a video on YouTube from a film student that made a rejected film project with interviews of employees and customers at MediaPlay right before it was shut down. It might not be the best documentary film, but it's nice to see that someone besides me who remembers the store is paying tribute to it, and I say it's worth a watch. The link to that video is in the description. In closing, MediaPlay was a great store, practically a store for nerds at that time. It might not have been one of the most popular brands, but it was a store worth visiting. If I ever created a time machine, whether it be a souped-up DeLorean or a camouflage TARDIS, one of my main goals would be to go back in time and revisit MediaPlay for old time's sake. And although the next generation of people will never experience what the store was like, at least for me and many others who have had the pleasure of going into that store, MediaPlay will always live on as a cherished memory. Well, that wraps up this episode of Forgotten Media. More episodes are on the way in the future, but for now, I have a lot of remodeling to do with this series. So, as always, this is Melting Man 234 signing out.